Hey there, nation. Welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander CheapSkate, and we are back with another edition of Spoils of War. This is a series of videos on our channel that we dedicate to Spear, Cigar, as well as Whiskey reviews. And on this edition, we are doing a cigar review of Oscar Villadares' latest offering, which is called Island Jim No. 2, which is by far the most interesting cigar I think I've ever seen, actually. It's kind of like a really unique cigar. We'll talk about this boutique cigar and this latest offering from Oscar Villadares. I'm sorry, my name's missing today. So we're going to talk about that cigar as well. And as always, you guys, these videos are dedicated to our brother in arms across the ocean. So Big Puka, if you're watching this cigar review is for you, buddy. So that being said, let's go and talk about the cigar a little bit more in detail. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about Island Jim No. 2 by Oscar Villadares. So let's talk about that cigar really quick. First of all, the company, Oscar Villadares, is actually known as a pretty good boutique cigar. They're most notably known for the cigar that is known as the Leaf. It's basically one of their most popular Honduran cigars they actually created. And actually, if you were to look at that cigar, you would think it's actually a really ugly looking cigar because it looks like a piece of tobacco leaf that's been dried and rolled and dried and like had a wrapper put around it. But actually, that's because the leaf, the tobacco leaf itself, is used instead of cellophane, and inside it's like a really good cigar. It's actually the cigar that they're actually known for. And so this one, which is actually one of their latest offerings, is also pretty interesting as well. Now, the reason why this cigar is called Island Jim, according to my understanding, is because it's named after a friend of the company. His name is Jim Robinson, who is a distributor, I believe, and that's the reason why they named the cigar after him. Also, if you notice as well, it also has kind of like a unique kind of, it looks like a No. 2 pencil from back in the day as well, so it's also kind of like an interesting cigar as well. So Oscar Villadares, it's actually a really known boutique cigar. They have several lines that are very, very successful. They're known as being one of the newest cigar companies to kind of start taking the cigar market by storm with some of the blending. If you remember correctly, the guys who founded the company actually used to work at General Cigars, Olive, as well as, I believe, Rocky Patel as well. And so they kind of went to business themselves, opening up a factory in Honduras, and then they're just kind of putting out these wonderful flavored boutique cigars. So we're going to review this one real quick, so let's take a look at it real quick. It is a torpedo cigar, so it is 6 inches in length with 64ths of an inch in diameter. It's got a beautiful Colorado colored wrapper on the outside of it. The cap, which is also kind of interesting as well, looks like it's a small layer of Connecticut tapped with a small layer of Maduro wrapper. On the outside, it kind of gives it this distinct pencil look. Also, if you look at the cigar as well, the cap is also open, which is actually kind of interesting. Usually, torpedoes are usually closed tipped, but this one actually has a nice opening as well. Also, if you look at the foot of the cigar as well, it's also an unfinished foot as well. It's kind of frayed on the bottom, which is kind of good because when you light these up, it makes it very, very easy to smoke because the frayed ends actually kind of help kind of toast the foot for you as well as make sure you have an even burn. So overall, just a very interesting looking cigar. As you can see, we have the company label here on the back. So if I can focus this up a little bit. There we go. We have the company label on the back, as well as this very colorful character look up here in the front. Kind of reminds me of like the Big Lebowski almost. Also, the box that this cigar comes in is also very interesting as well. It's basically has the same design as the wrapper on the outside for the wrapper there. It's like a turquoise blue with a bunch of tropical red flowers all over it with this guy's profile around the top of it. So it's very eye-catching. In fact, the reason why I'm going to admit right now, the reason why I picked this cigar to try it out is because the wrapping and the producting actually caught my attention. I was like, let's give this a try. It's moderately priced. It's about anywhere between $10 to $12, depending where you get it from. At the tobacco store that I bought this at, it ran for me about $11. After taxes, around like $11.01 after taxes. So worked out pretty good for me on that one. So that's what it looks like. Talk about the dimensions, a little bit of the company about it. So let's get this lit up. We'll go ahead and toast the foot, start smoking it. We'll do the review for the first third, second third, and the final third of the cigar, and talk about what we think about that. So, as you can see, I have a cutter. I'm actually not going to use the cutter on this one because once I realized the tip was open, I'm just going to smoke it through the open cap. And we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to toast this real quick and light it up, and then we'll be back with the first third review. Alright, as you can see, we have actually lit up the cigar at this point. We're now smoking the first third of it. I forgot to mention some of the aromas that we get off of the cigar. I forgot to do that portion before I actually started filming me lighting it up. The aromas we did have, it was basically just a really sweet, semi-sweet kind of tobacco smell. That's basically what I kind of got from the aroma off of it. The bouquet is very much like sweetened tobacco with a little bit of a hint of a coffee kind of note. So like if you ever had like coffee, if you ever just had black coffee and just had the aromas off of that, that's what it kind of reminded me of, that little bit of that tang at the end. So just sweetened tobacco with a tang. As you can see, it's burning quite well and actually quite evenly, so even though the foot was unfinished, I do like unfinished feet on a cigar. I guess that sounds kind of weird, but it is unfinished, and it actually, the reason why I like it, because it kind of helps contribute to an even burn in my opinion. So smoke output is very good on this cigar, and the draw is a little tight, and the reason why is because, of course, it is a pyramid, so because of that, oh sorry, not a pyramid, a torpedo cigar, so because of that, the draw is a little bit tighter. However, because of that, the flavors are definitely focused. In fact, it's going to give this a couple of puffs real quick. All right, so with the flavors, a very semi-sweet flavor actually. It kind of reminds you a little bit of like if you've ever had cold brew coffee. That kind of flavor with a little bit of a sweetness to it. So like if you had like a mug of cold brewed coffee and someone added like a teaspoon of sugar to it throughout the entire mug, it's very, very very like just really kind of like a dark earthy kind of flavor to it with a very, very mild, almost subdued kind of sweetness to it. It's very enjoyable so far. Let's go ahead and take another puff of this real quick and see some of the aromas we get. Very nice. Once again, just a super smooth, just like almost kind of like very, very subdued sweetness to the back end of it. Very much a semi-sweet aftertaste. It's like I said before, just kind of like if you infuse tobacco in a cup of cold brew. That's what it kind of reminds me of as well. The retrohale is also very nice on it as well. It's not too strong. Usually when you retrohale a cigar, if it's very strong, it kind of burns your nostrils, but this one, not so much. It's very, very smooth overall. Very, very enjoyable smoke. So we'll go through the rest of the third of it. When we get to the second third, we'll come back and talk about some of the flavors that we get for the second third. Alright, so as you can see, we are now done with the very first third of the cigar. We're now entering the second third. As I said before, the very sweet tobacco flavor, kind of semi-sweet coffee flavor that I got from the notes from this was very, very good. Retrohale and aroma throughout was really excellent, actually. Now, the thing you'll notice as well is that if you look at the cap, I did take a little bit off the top of the cap. The draw was a little too tight for my preference. So because I did kind of trim it down a little bit, but overall, this is probably one of the most well-constructed cigars I've ever smoked. As you can see, the ash on this is still very, very tight packed, still very strong. As you can see, the burn is relatively pretty even. It's actually very, very good for a cigar like this. So overall, the flavor is still great. Now we're entering the second third. Let's go ahead and take a couple puffs and get some of the initial flavors we get off of it. Still very much that very semi-sweet, very kind of coca flavor. Smoke is still very soft and creamy as well. So a very great, very excellent texture to the smoke, as well as the flavors overall. Retrohale is still pretty good on this as well. So just a very flavorful, very smooth cigar. It's pretty excellent so far. So we're going to smoke now to the second third, and we'll get to the final third and continue our review from there. So with that being said, we'll see you guys in a little bit. Alright, so we're done with the second third now. Flavors were pretty consistent throughout, just much like the first third. Very subdued sweetness with a very rich tobacco flavor. Smoke was very aromatic as well. We're now entering the last third of the cigar. As you can see, I've taken off the label at this point to kind of enjoy it. Relatively even burn throughout. Very well constructed cigar. Overall, very enjoyable experience. Let's go ahead and take a couple of puffs here in the final third. Once again, a very rich tobacco flavor overall. The coffee flavor is still very, very strong. We got a little bit of a hint of coconut in not coconut, cocoa in the back there. So it's just very, very pleasant flavored. The sweetness is relatively gone at this point. It's just kind of just like a normal, just a very rich, very coca flavor throughout the entire draw at this point. Retrohale is still very warm as well, with a little bit of hint of spiciness on the retrohale. overall, just a very excellent cigar, a very easy, smooth going cigar. Burn time is pretty long on this. Right now we have about an hour and a half at this point. We're just finally reaching the final third after the hour and a half point. Overall, I am very impressed with this cigar. It's just an excellent, smooth going, just easy cigar. Kind of like with the name. It's like I can see this like Island Jim. I can see this exactly the same thing. You're on a beach somewhere, just chilling out, having good times with your friends and family, and you're just smoking this for a good 2 hours because you're just taking life leisurely. So very excellent product overall. So I'm just going to spend the rest of the half hour now just smoking up the rest of it. That's pretty much going to end the review on this one. As always, you guys, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is always appreciated as always. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, blogger.com, as well as Google Plus for all the latest and greatest for our hobby needs. So, Big Puka, this one was for you, buddy. We got to smoke this when you get back. From that point on, ladies and gentlemen, you guys take it easy. We'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out, you guys.